wonder if I can run in and grab mid before my golem's up.
Give me a fucking crit, goddammit.
Middle has been percepted. White's been percepted. And all traps found. Go ahead and head into blue room and start DPSing it down. Lead busters are out. Healers get ready to assume your tanks. Hallway golems are out. First set of interrupts. Interrupt if you have to. Be interrupting every single one from now on. DPS does look low, so I would suggest that when we get to the compaction section, start using your actions. Interrupts. Start bursting. Use actions if you have to. Actually, we're fine.
Quick pit
Help
stop
south
on
out.
hallways.
Yeah, help out with hallway golems a little bit on your way to green. Interrupts. Right, go to red, get it down to about 20%, and then focus on hallway golems. And then we'll just wait for a slime disruptor call. No dots, by the way. Go ahead and stop DPS and focus on hallways. Build gauge. And we're just waiting on slimes to give us the go-ahead.
Lucid.
Cool. Rupture has been called. I will invuln and then get it onto the pad. Right, invuln is up. Burn this down. Burn this down. And we are done. All right. Welcome to Seeker, the first fight of the instance. If you do not have a peer and you are not a tank, congrats, you will be dead. Let's see. So there are a few things to go over. I will try to keep it fairly brief. Seeker is very similar to how he's in normal mode, except all the mechanics are faster and they come out in quick succession and in combinations. Big thing to keep in mind is always try to be near the boss because Fourfold Mercy, the sword mechanic, comes out a lot faster. I will be calling it out true north if needed, and if it's a single movement, and by number if it is not. So, for example, if it's a crossover, I will call something like 1, 3, 4, 2. So you go north for 1, south for 2, then back up north. During the second half of the encounter, there will be clones coming out. That will also do sword cleaves. It will appear somewhere like where I'm standing at south. I will be calling in or out from the middle of the arena, just because it's easier for me. So it could be a movement like in, out, in will be a call. So you go in towards the middle of the arena from the clone, out away from the clone for 2 cleaves, and then back in. It will always only be at maximum 2 to 3 movements, sometimes just 1. Let's see. Seasons of Mercy is another large mechanic. It's got an orb that will petrify you. If you look at, I will call where the orb is. So look away from that marker. And then we'll also call where the Lotus is, which will expand a lot faster than the normal mode. There will also be 2 sets of crisscrossing AoEs during this. During the second half of the fight, there will also be 3 clones that will do line AoEs. The order of resolution for that mechanic is the Petrify Orb, first set of lines, then the first set of crisscross, then the line AoEs after that. So you have time to resolve it. Just focus on getting out of the crisscross and then dodging the lines. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not used to having to explain this. It's been a long time. Let's see, what else is there? Yes, Earthshakers. Thank you, Eric. Another part of the fight, the clones will appear in the middle while Trinity Seeker will jump around and pretty much electrify either the yellow sand or the blue brick section of the arena. During that, 3 people will be targeted by Earthshakers. This is a downtime mechanic. If you get these Earthshakers, take them away from the party and do not overlap them. They give an Earth Resistance down debuff, and if you get hit with 2 of them, you are dead. I already explained how I was going to call fourfold, but I'll explain it again. I will do true north if it is a single movement, so I'll be going like west for 2, east for 2, or north for 2, south for 2. If it's a crossover, I'll be using the numbers. I'll say something like 1, 3, 4, 2. 1, 3, 4, 2 if it is a crossover. Other than that, make sure you use your actions. They more than double your damage. Casters use your Cure 4, Renders Rend, Dervishes use your Dervish, and if you're ready, get beyond the purple line. Pretty much everything else can be explained in callouts. I will call when to use Healer LB3 if we need it. Pop your food, use potions as well. I do need a main tank. Looks like Lynn has already volunteered. She knows what she's doing. She will also be taking the first Buster solo, so tanks do not stack. Alright, looks like everyone is ready. Lynn is outside the VC, I think, so I will give a 30-second countdown. Sorry in advance if I mess up a call. There are multiple people here who can back me up if needed. Oh, tank stance is off, by the way, unless you're Lynn. Seeker opens up with a raid wide, shield and heal as necessary. Next we have a clone coming out, and it's going to say hi. Feel free to ignore for now. Next we have our first fourfold Mercy. Our order is 4.
Need ether.
Easy. North of the clone, north for 2, south for 2. North of the boss for 2, south of the boss for 2. Crossover, go south. Seasons of Mercy. Orb is at 2. Look away from 2. Lotus is at 4. Away from the Lotus. We have pushed. Get inside the boss's hitbox. Hot wing cleave. Front or behind is also safe. Get away from Lynn. She is going to be taking a solo Invuln Buster. And continue to stay away from Lynn. She is also going to be taking a Push Buster.
Lucid.
Next, we'll be getting chains with either a knockback into a barrier or hide behind a barrier. Is knockback into a barrier. Stack up for chains, break your chains, you get knocked into any barrier. Get knocked into any barricade after you break your chains. Stack back up again mid for Ifrit dashes. We are starting at 1, starting towards 1, going counterclockwise. And then we are hiding behind the barrier at 4. Hide behind the barrier at 4. Hide behind 4. Back into the boss. Stack up on 4 for a line stack.
Lucid.
Stay stacked to bait these easily dodgeable baited lines, and we definitely will be pushing. So we will be getting a single stone or sand, and then going into intercards after these lines. Dodge these lines, and then get on blue, brick blue stone, and then immediately intercards. Pushed, intercards of the boss. Max melee is safe but scary. Alright, drag it back to the mill. Get in for more Ifrit dashes, followed by a 4-fold mercy. We are starting at 2. Going clockwise. Our swords are 4. Easy. West for 2, east for 2. West of the boss for 2 cleaves, east of the boss for 2 cleaves. West of the boss for 2. Crossover, followed by another Seasons of Mercy. Orb is at 2. Lowe's is at 4, same as last time. Stack up to bait and break chains. Break these chains. Followed by a raid wide. Regular tank buster on Lyn. Get away from the main tank. We have more swords, followed by either sand or stone. It's easy. North for 2, south for 2, and we are standing on...
Need ether.
Stand on sand. Yellow sand.
Lucid.
Crossover and end on brick. Brick blue stone under the boss is stone. One more random combo. Stand on stone. Brick blue stone, followed by Seasons of Mercy. Orb is at 2. Lowest is at 1. Go south, look south. Crisscross resolves first, then the lines. Dodge out now. And kill. We are not getting LB3. We are not holding with this damage. Raid wide. Great job. Do not run ahead. There are traps. We do have, I think... Oh, no one dead. Cool. Lyn is pulling. Croc Rocks. Get out of the orange, stay out of the orange. Multiple sets. One more set. Keep dodging. Dahu will dash either north or south. And never mind, he is dashing west-ish. And he will dash east-ish. He's dashing about northeast. Do not get crispy. That was a very weird dash. That will be dragged back towards the middle of the arena. And then split flame markers will come out as well as ads on the edges of the arena. If you get a marker above your head, take it to the corresponding numbered ad next to the number. Spit flames are out. This is downtime. Go kill an ad with your marker. 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. Next will be a left-right cleave. Stand next to this and then dodge into it. Dodge into this now. Next, get knocked back into any safe spots.
Lucid.
If you are a gamer, feel free to dash. Get back in towards the boss. Do not get hit by the 5 fire breaths. He is going counterclockwise. There's 1 and 2. You're free to stop here for caster up time. And ignore the ads. Just heal Lin. Focus down Dahu. Ignore the ads. Focus Dahu. Perfect. Doesn't look like we have any dead. I'll get this one. All right. First things first, tank assignments. Lynn is going to be tanking both of the wall ads. That is the warrior and the soldier. She will drag the first one, the warrior, to the east, and then she will drag the soldier to the west. Iryoku will be handling both of the middle ads. You'll be tanking the knight in the middle and then the gunner in the middle. You will be picking up and invulning your own turrets during the second phase. Iryoku and Lin are both Dark Knights, so let's see, they're both 10-10 though, with sucker stacks, so they should be able to get themselves back up. But healers, just watch out, just in case. Toss them a heal if needed. These other markers, these are the Aura Sphere tanks. The outer 2, A and D, are the first set of Aura Sphere tanks, and the inner are the second set. So me and Charlotte will be grabbing the first set. We will be invulning the spite check when the orb dies, and then the second set will be Arel and Preserved. I think that's about it for tanks. Healers, this is when you will slot in Steel Sting and Spellforge. I did mention earlier to coordinate with your healers who's bringing each. If you only have one healer, hopefully you brought both. Are there any parties that are missing either spell or steel? I'd like to confirm that now. Doesn't sound like it. All right. Thank you for the markers. Apparently I don't have Kichi marker saved. All right, Queensguard, there is, God, a lot to go over. I'll try to be quick, but this fight has a lot of moving parts, and a lot of these mechanics you will see again later during the Queen, so it's good to go over them. At the start of the fight, we will be fighting against all 4 of them until they hit 80%, or they jump at a certain amount of time. They will do 2 raid wides, and then we will go into the first major phase, which is Knight and Warrior. Knight's major mechanics are Sword and Shield Omen, and Warrior's major mechanics are Boost and Bomb. After every Relentless Battery, the Warrior will cast a boost, and they will do a double raid wide that needs to be dispelled ASAP as soon as it gets on them, or we will all take massive damage. I won't go over the tethers because both tanks know what they're doing, but pretty much we want to keep the bosses away from each other. If they tether together, they take less damage, and each of their attacks becomes extremely strong. A tethered raid wide can wipe a raid. Main mechanic during the Knight and Warrior phase is bombs paired with either Sword or Shield Omen. If it's Sword Omen, you will be getting knocked. If it's Sword Omen, you will be standing at the edge of the arena, pretty much around this line, near the death wall, and the knight will dash through the middle in a line and then detonate a bomb in the middle of the arena that will explode for most of the arena. At the same time, the warrior will be either tethering you or bombs or both of you. Pretty much, if you or a bomb are tethered, you're going to small. If neither or both are tethered, you're going to big. I will be calling it out like tethers to big, non-tethers to small for each mechanic. You'll be standing next to the corresponding bomb you need, whether you're tethered or not. If you are tethered, there is also a small buff that looks like scales that will appear in your character in your buff bar called Reversal of Forces. You can also use that if you missed a tether, if you miss seeing your tether. So if it's Sword Omen, you'll stand at the edge of the arena, stand next to a bomb, you'll get knocked up, and then go back to the fight. Warrior will boost after that, followed by double raid wide. If it's Shield Omen, we will be getting knocked back from near the center of the arena towards your bomb, perpendicular from where the warrior is dashing. So if the warrior is here, is south at C, and is dashing north with the bomb in the middle, you'd stand kind of towards either 4 or 3, and then you get knocked towards those markers. Because if you get knocked south, then you'll be going where the bomb is going, and it'll explode that half of the arena, and you as well. During this phase, also, Spellforge and Steel Sting will need to be applied. They will get tethered with either a purple tether or a yellow tether that will denote a damage immunity. We need to be doing the proper kind of damage that goes through their immunity, or else you will be doing pretty much no damage. You'll start hitting for like 100. So the healers will be applying Spellforge and Steel Sting to the people needed. There will be a diagram in raid text chat. There already is. Thank you. So pretty much all healers and casters need Steel Sting. All tanks and melee and Fizz range need Spellforge. There are hybrids. They will need buff regardless. So if I say click off purple, apply yellow, those jobs will need the yellow buff as well, or they will not be doing as much damage because part of their kit is mixed. Let's see here. 1 second. All right. One other mechanic to go over during the knight and warrior phase is wind and lightning. The arena will be split in 4 sections of either a dark purple gravity lightning looking puddle or wind puddles. If you are tethered, you'll be going to wind. If you are not tethered, you'll be going to lightning. And then the knight will also be casting Shield Omen or Sword Omen. Regardless of the cast, you will be getting in towards the knight, and then either inside its hitbox towards the safe spot or away from the hitbox towards the safe spot. It will be either doing a point blank cleave or a small donut AoE around its hitbox, as well as cleaving 3/4 of the arena. So if it's a Shield Omen, I'll say something like Shield Omen getting towards the center of the arena, and then if it's cleaving everywhere but south, I'll say get inside the hitbox towards south. You'll be standing literally like next to it, like right here, like I am. Make sure not to target and hit these, by the way. And that's about it for Knight and Warrior. Next up is Gunner and Soldier. This one is honestly quite easy, and with his damage, we will probably be skipping Jumpy Boys, unless something goes wrong. So that phase, you will no longer need Spellforge and Steel Sting after that, so I will call to remove it to replace its damage actions. Gunner will be pulled to the middle. Soldier will be pulled to the wall. The first mechanic will be Fire Frogs. 4 frogs will appear on the outside of the arena, or in the middle of the arena. 2 will have large fire orbs, 2 will have small fire orbs. I will call the safe spots depending on where they move. And then at the same time, you'll also be having to show your hole to the gunner in the middle of the arena, and then to any turrets on the wall. During this mechanic, you will get a Mystadio mechanic. I'm not sure exactly what it was called, Sight Unseen or something. But you will be pretty much showing the one section, the 1/4 of your hitbox that has an open space towards the gunner, and then towards one of the turrets that appear on the wall. They are staggered, so you can look either way. Just make sure that you are facing them. Take a couple seconds to move your character and not do any GCDs if you need to. After that, gun turrets will spawn. They will need to
gunner
be...
first, then turret first?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it gunner first and then turret first? For
Yes, you will face. Yes, you will face your hole towards the gunner, and then to a turret on the wall. And that is right after the fire frogs go off. There is melee uptime for the fire frogs, but if you don't know it, just go ahead and get out towards the marker. So if I say the safe spot is C, just stand on the C marker. After that will be gun turrets. The gunner will spawn 2 adds. Each of the main tanks will pick those up. All DPS will focus those down. They are a hard DPS check. There's an enrage mechanic. If they don't die, they will explode, doing massive damage and giving us all a doom stack. I don't foresee any issues with this group for damage, and both tanks know what they're doing. After that will be either fire or ice, which is pyretic or stillness. If it's ice, you want to keep moving. Jumping will not work. So if I call ice, keep moving, keep moving. Just move your character until the ice animation appears. If it is fire, you want to stop everything as a pyretic. Treat it like you have an Excel bomb. Stop moving. Stop doing GCD. Stop turning your camera. Stop doing anything. Make sure you are not auto-attacking as well. Honestly, I'm just going to not talk about Jumpy Boys because it's self-explanatory when we get to it, and we probably won't see it. So for the last phase, the Knights will jump away, and we will have Reflect Orbs. We already did Reflect assignments earlier. Is there anyone that does not remember their Reflect assignment? All right, gather these up in a cuddle puddle for AoEs. First raid wide going out. Second raid wide. All right. Warrior to the wall, Knight to the middle. All tank stances off unless you are the main tanks. Click off purple, apply yellow. Click off purple, apply yellow. Don't forget your hybrids. First Relentless Battery. It is Sword Omen. We will be taking a bomb at the edge of the arena. If you are tethered, you're going to big. Non-tethers to small. Tethers to big, non-tethers to small at the edge of the arena. If you drop first, move into a bomb that just exploded.
Lucid.
Warrior is getting a boost out. Please dispel. Dispel now, followed by a double raid wide. More love on Knight. Lot more love on Knight. Focus on Knight for a bit. Second Relentless Battery. This will be Wind and Lightning Puddles with Sword or Shield Omen. If you are tethered, you are going to Wind. Tethers to Wind, non-tethers to Lightning. Followed by Sword Omen, will be collapsing into the Knight and then getting away. Going towards D, Delta, away, towards Delta. Back to the bosses, focus on Warrior. Warrior has boosted, please dispel. Please dispel, heavy mitt, use LBs. Got dispelled the last second. Damage looks even, tank busters. Right, and kill the Knight. Alright, soldier to the wall, gunner to the middle. First up is Fire Frogs. As Fi would say, there's chemicals in the water turning the frickin' Fire Frogs gay. Large orbs are on A and C. We will be moving to... Safe spot is C, south, C, south. Point your open hole towards the gunner.
Lucid.
Open ult to the gunner. And now align it with the turret on the wall. Next up are tank busters. Followed by a double raid wide. Damage is pretty even. Next will be gun turrets spawning in a small eternity. Turrets are out. Focus on these. These are your top priority. Main tanks invuln, or just murder them. Double raid wide.
Lucid.
Next will be either fire or ice. It is fire. Stop your actions, stop your auto attacks, do nothing.
Pyretic.
Unless you're a greedy Dark Knight.
You need that invuln.
Nah. Alright, we are skipping this next mechanic. Just kill them. Draw Reflector and dead. Say something in yell chat, please. Alright, Slimes north, Golems south. Tanks, stances on if you're the Aura Sphere tank. Reflectors to your positions.
Lucid.
Like 2 orbs north or missed. Coat of arms is being replied. Respect it. Continue attacking. Reflect orbs are back out. Second set of Aura Spheres shortly. Aura Spheres are back out. Focus on them. Stop attacking. Tanks invuln if you got a spite check. You have LB3. I don't think we got it though, even close. We do have a few dead. If you are a healer with Arise, stand on the corpse you are going to Arise, and then pop your plates. Cure check. Be getting towards either Alpha or Delta, whichever one has a circle on the bottom. We are going to Alpha. We're walking down the donut. Keep your arms, hands, feet, tails inside the right at all times. Lynn will be giving us as much melee uptime as possible. Do not walk into the death wall at the end. Do not walk into the death wall. Move over to 2. Move over to 2. Now move back over to 1. You'll be staying here for 3 pulses, then moving back over to 2.
Lucid.
Move back over to 2 now. Now back over to 1. Looks like we will be seeing ads, healers, heal up the white ghosts, DPS down to red ghosts. Second set of ads are spawning. Your Hour of Benedictions is focused on full healing the ghosts. One more near one that needs to be healed.
Lucid.
Interrupting kill. Build gauge if you can. Do not run ahead, there are traps. Trinity Avowed is personal responsibility of the fight. It is a hot-cold mechanic for everything. There are 3 phases: staff, bow, and sword. I will start by going through each of them. You will have a temperature mechanic as well as forced marches, and then during the second half you will have a brand mechanic. The brand mechanic you will be combining with your temperature to equalize at the end of the mechanic. So say if your brand is hot 2 and your temperature is cold 1, you'll want to get hit by the cold 1 mechanic to make yourself cold 2, and then it will equalize with the hot 2 at the end of the mechanic to resolve it. I know it sounds confusing, but this fight is very confusing to beginners. I will be going over each of the phase mechanics first, starting with staff. We will stack up in the middle of the arena. 4 meteors will spawn at the intercardinals of the arena, and you'll be getting a force march. Force march happens multiple times throughout this fight. It takes you 2 tiles from your starting position. So if I'm facing north and I have marched left, I will be marching from this spot to about this spot. You'll march 2 tiles, slightly more if you are a ninja, about 2.5. So you'll be marching from the middle. So during meteor phase, you'll be marching from the middle of the arena into your safe meteor. So you'll be marching from about where Avowed is. If your meteor is over here, you'd be marching to about here. After that is sword phase. This is the most complex mechanic. Let's see if we can get a diagram or GIF in the chat. Let me try and find the GIF real quick. You look in raid text chat, there is a little GIF showing how the swords mechanic goes. She'll go untargetable, and clones will spawn around her. Let's see, I know I have the markers here, so there we go. All right, and the safe spot will be on either the 1, 2, 3, or 4 marker. I will call them out. The safe spot that you need to get hit by the sword cleave is always cardinal of the safe spot. So say if I say 2 is the safe spot, then you know that the sword you need to get hit by to resolve your temperature will either be at 1, A, 3, or the tile east of 2. If you are intercardinal of the safe spot in any way, you will die because you will be hit by 2 cleaves. So if the safe spot is 2 and you are at 4, you will die. If you are all the way at B, you will die. It doesn't matter how far away you go. If it's not cardinal of that safe spot, you are getting hit by 2 swords and you will die. During the second half of the fight, when there are brands applied, it is possible for you to need to be hit by 2 swords. You do not want to take 2 at once. You will take them in a row. So you'll be hit by the first set of swords and the second set of swords. After that is bow phase. Bow phase has a shared tank buster to start, followed by a forced march to either Delta or Bravo from the middle of the arena because of a flame wall covering 4/5 of the arena. If you will look in raid text chat, there is a ladder game diagram. Sorry, my voice is starting to give out. 1 second. Sorry about that. All right. Arrows. There, you will be doing a ladder game after we get forced march to the edge of the arena. If you need to get hit by an arrow, which you will in the first set, the arrows take every 90-degree turn they take on the ladder. There is no visual indicator in Savage of where each arrow will go. If it can take a 90-degree turn going down the ladder, it will. If you need to, take your hands off your controller or keyboard and just trace the path of your arrow with either your mouse or your finger, whatever lets you resolve the mechanic quicker. During the second set, when you get a brand, you will also have a force march with this as well. You will need to move 2 tiles towards your arrow's safe spot. It is probably the most annoying and complex mechanic in this entire dungeon. It is also possible during the brand phase that you will have an equalized temperature and you will need to get hit by no arrows. There is an empty spot on the ladder games. Treat it as if it were another arrow and follow it down every 90 degree, and that will be your safe spot. Let's see. All that I didn't cover really is Meteor Phase 2. Meteor Phase 2 is similar as the first one, except you will not be walking down. You will not be a forced march. Instead, you will be walking towards your safe spots, and clones will appear on the north and east walls of the arena, and they will have one safe section to call. I will either call something like outer corners, which will be like right here, north-south wall, which will be right here, or the green tile at the edge up there, east-west wall, or inner corners. Those will be your safe spot. You usually will see vets jumping to denote where the safe spot you need to stand is for your meteor. Last thing to go over is the raid wides, Glory of Bosha. They have multiple times through the fight after each mini phase, and they are heavy-hitting raid wides that have a bleed. Tanks will be using Aether Shield. If your tank goes down, Cure 4s help your healers. If your healers go down, Cure 4s, congratulations, you are now your party's healer. If your healers go down or your only tank goes down, make sure to mark them so that we can possibly sacrifice or arise them. But note, do not sacrifice or arise if we are in the middle of a mechanic, especially if it's Meteor, because there is no safe spot then. They will have no temperature and they will just die again. If you are a tank and you know you messed up your mechanic, yes, wiggle check. If you're a tank and you know that you messed up your mechanic at the very end and you have the wrong temperature, you can pop your Aether Shield a couple seconds before it resolves and it will last through the following raid wide. Is there anything that I didn't go over? I think it was most of it. Tanks up front for a shared buster. Raid wide, Aether Shields, Owls, Reprisals, Dismantles. Our first weapon is front, cut, front. Next, get behind her. Range can pre-position behind and away. Get behind. Our order is staff, sword, bow. Get out at the flash of light when she stops spinning. Get out now. Stack up middle. Your temperature is out.
Lucid.
Your quick march is out. Remember, it takes you 2 tiles. Get marched towards your safe meteor 2 tiles from the center of the arena. Stack up mid to take damage. Quick march to your meteor. Back middle for raid wide. Aether Shields, Addles, Reprisals, Dismantles. Get south on the not 1 marker. Get in front of her. She's looking at you, you're looking at her. In front of her. She's going untargetable in about 15 seconds. Hold your burst. Your temperature is out. I will be calling the safe spot. Remember, you need to get hit from a cardinal of the safe spots. First safe spot is 3. If you're on 1, you are dead. Second safe spot is 1. If you're on 3, you are dead. Aether Shields, Addles, Reprisals. Next will be Bow behind.
Lucid.
Get behind, south. Tanks up front for a shared buster. They will be quick marching from the middle of the arena towards either Delta or Bravo. Your quick march is out. Tanks up front for the shared buster. We are getting quick march to... Quick march to Bravo. Bravo. Anyone march the wrong way and dies in the fire, rescue them if they re-raise. Rescue Shiki. Right. Do the ladder game. Focus on mechanics before damage.
Lucid.
Stack back up. Raid wide. Aether Shields, Owls, Reprisals. Take her back to the middle of the arena. Thank you. Get out at the flash of light when she stops spinning. Get out now.
Need ether.
Back into the middle of the arena. You'll have your temperature and a brand. You'll be walking to your safe meteor. Your temperature is out. Your brand is out. Stack up mid to take damage, then walk towards your safe meteor, and then to the safe quadrant. Safe spots are far corners, far corners. White tiles, far corner. Back into the middle for Aether Shields. Aether Shields, Owls, Reprisals. Get in front.
Lucid.
Towards 3. 3 are on the not 1 marker. Hold your burst. Your temperature is out. Your brand is out. Remember, you may need to get hit twice. Take it in a row, not at the same time. First safe spot is 4. Two is death. Second safe spot is 3. 1 is death. Most groups should have healer LB soon. If you have healer LB, pop it now. LB3 now. Aether Shields, Addles, Reprisals, and then burn the boss. Raid wide. Get behind and kill her. Behind, behind, behind towards south. Great job, everyone. All right, so since the majority of tanks know what they're doing, I'm not going to go over the tank stuff. Majority of this fight is a ad phase. The Minotaur really doesn't matter. This is one of the most annoying mechanics in the instance. It can go south very quickly, but we have multiple vet tanks that can prevent that. Everyone else, after ad phase starts, you'll be starting down here towards where the C marker will be. 4 Minotaur ads will spawn. They will be slowly kited around the arena clockwise by the Minotaur tanks. Your job, if you are not a assigned reflector or dispeller, is to stay south and DPS down the Minotaurs. Shortly after they come out, every section, except for these small notches on the Cardinals, will be trapped with one either poison or explosion trap. The tanks will go around and pop all of them, but during that phase, until the trap is near you or popped, stay in this section. After that, you are free to move around the rest of the arena and kill the Minotaurs. There will be multiple mechanics where you need to utilize these small notches on the edge of these areas. By the way, anything outside of this tiled section, like this darker section here, this all becomes a death wall during this phase. So you can only move around these rings and these little notches on the edges. There will be Devastating Bolt, which is a lightning AoE that hits everywhere except for in these little notches. I will say get into a nook, get into a cubby, something like that. There will also be ground AoEs that will be dropped on multiple people. Just step out of them, try not to overlap them. And then next, the major mechanic is push or pull. The boss will cast Labyrinthine Fate and give you either a Wanderer's Fate or a Sacrifice's Fate. If you look in raid text chat, there are 2 icons, one that looks like a Minotaur pushing someone downstairs, and another that looks like the Minotaur is slurping up some noodles. If you are getting pushed downstairs, you need to stand in the front of the in the frontmost notch towards the Minotaur, where I'm jumping right now, and you will get knocked back all the way to the edge of the notch here. If you are anywhere outside of a notch, when you get knocked back, you will get into the death wall and die. If you are getting slurped up by the Minotaur, you will stand away from it and get pulled towards it. That tends to sound something kind of like...
Nice.
Oh, wow, those are super hot. Ow. Oh, I didn't give that enough time. Worth it.
Worse. I was about to say, was it worth it?
Worth it.
Let's go.
All right, there's your encore. Anyways, healers. I think the majority of our healers are vets that are over there with the spell and reflect. You'll be standing on the inner ring. You'll be reflecting fire orbs as they come out. If they do not get reflected, they explode and give everyone a twice come ruin stack. Earth orbs start with stone skin and need to be dispelled. Then you can just use your dot and they will die on the next tick. Tanks know what they're doing, so I won't go over that. And everything afterwards, after the ad phase, can be handled in calls. The big thing is make sure you're not in the trap maze while tanks are popping it. Start down at C and do your words when they come out. If you're already, let's see, I know I have these markers. Tank stances off if you are not Lynn. Away from the main tank. Find your knockback immune on your bar. If you are a melee, pop your knockback now, and melees run through to try to bait wax away from the casters. Run through towards the front of the boss. 1 whack. 2 whacks. 3 whacks. Next will be a giant cone counter cleave. Get away, far away, at least 20 yalms. You can still cast, you're too close. Do not science this. Rapid bolts, take these out and away, and then we have pushed. Tanks, turn on your stances, get to your spots. Healers, get to the mill ring, everyone else towards 3. Focus on the first add, and then get back to 3 when the markers show up. Back to a cardinal, back to a cardinal. Traps are coming out. Your words are out. Do these immediately. Your words are out. Get into a notch, do your words.
Need bravery.
Beast loose.
Get into a cubby, any cubby. We need more reflectors. Reflectors, please. Ball of fire on A. Ball of earth on C. One more ball goes off, everyone dies. Another ball of fire between C and D.
Lucid.
Get into a notch, get into a notch, sorry. Alright, there's a ball of fire between C and D. Careful. Alright, tank stances off, raid wide. It was a bit scuffed, but we got through it. Rapid bolts, take these out and away. They persist. Do not overlap them. Followed by another massive cleave. Get out and stay
Need
out.
bravery.
Next will be 2 more sets of rapid bolts in quick succession. Take these out. Take this set out, and then collapse back in the middle to bait a cleave. Out and away, out and away. Once you take damage, get back towards the middle of the arena. Back towards the middle now to dodge 3 whacks.
Lucid.
Whack, whack, and whack. Get away from the main tank, there will be a tank buster. Go ahead and start building gauge for Queen. Knockback immune. Followed by 3 more whacks. You know, I asked for soundboard access, but I forgot to do some quacks. Alright, we have a few people dead. Please do not go ahead towards Queen. Focus on getting the dead up. We do have a dead healer that has arises over here. Alright, as I said before, Queen mostly can be handled in callouts. The big things to keep watch for are super chests and lightning orbs. 5 lightning orbs will spawn around the random parts of the arena near the end, and twice during the fight. About halfway and near the end. Is denoted by a sovereignty gauge, and after she uses God Save the Queen, one of her largest hard-hitting raid wides. If you have a light curtain or reflect, you stand inside these with that popped, and you will create a bubble that everyone else can get into to survive the following raid wide. If you do not have a reflect or light curtain, just get away. Stand between 2 orbs. Don't try to science it. They are very large, and they will kill you. It's probably the one mechanic that kills new people the most in this fight, is not looking out for lightning orbs. They can spawn under her as well. During that same phase, we will also need dispellers to dispel, I think it's 4 buffs from the Queen, or she will start just destroying our faces. The next major mechanic will be super chests. I will try to call it as best I can. I will be calling it out from the left side. So if it's double open, I will say, and the safe side in the safe tile is on A, I will say something like 7's behind 4, 6's to the corner, 5's between 4 and D, walking up the D column. You will combine your 2 markers. They will be either a 2 through 4 in Roman numerals on your buff bar. So you could have something like a 2 plus a 3. That would mean your total is a 5. So you'll be walking 2 or 3 spaces, and then you will do your second debuff. If you get a pink spike of doom above your head, you have walked too far and you need to move back. It is better to, if you know you are going to mess up, it is better to fail the second half inside the save tile, because if you die outside of it with the pink spike of doom and then get raised, it is possible the following hit will kill you again. So at least you can mitigate it to taking only one deadly hit. I will be trying to call the safe spot as much as possible. Like I said, I'm not perfect though, and I'm a bit rusty. So apologies if I make a messed up call. There are multiple other callers in here who can back me up if needed. The other big mechanic is murder chess or normal chess. Ignore my mad rantings as I try to figure out the safe spots. I will also mark myself with a safety shape. Generally, you can follow the safety shape to know where the safe spot is, but I will try to call it out. I will say something like 2 not safe, C not safe, and then I'll say like 1-4 column is safe. It's just a messy mechanic all around. Other than that is a lot of rehashed mechanics from Queen's Guard, which can be handled in calls. There will be a section where you have to do the show hole mechanic to the gunner. The gunner will always spawn at 1, and then we will also be doing a North Swain's Glow with a wind or lightning puddle. So I'll say something like tethers to wind, point your hole towards the gunner at 1, and then towards the turret on the wall, while dodging either north, south, east, or west for the North Swain's Glow. Outside of that, pretty much everything else can be handled in calls. Those are the major mechanics. So if you're ready, stack up behind the C marker. Raid wide, Aether Shields, Owls, Reprisals, Dismantles, Feints. Next up is normal chess. Middle column is unsafe. C column is unsafe. Middle will be unsafe. We are praying for C. Go north on 1, back half of the 1 tile. And then just stay there the entire time. Full uptime. Do not move. Next up is first Tank Buster. Lynn will be taking this solo. Do not voke off of her.
Lucid.
Tank Buster. Aether Shields, Owls, Reprisals, Feints, Dismantles, yada yada. Next up will be our first Super Chess. Safe spot will be either on A or C. You want to end up in the safe spot. Reorient so your north is the safe spot. Safe spot is on A. Double open, 6s in the corner, 7s behind 4, 5s between the 1, 4, and D on the jumping triangle. We are walking up the D column.
Lucid.
Do your first movement. You get a pink spike of doom above your head, you walk too far and go back. Head towards the goal. Did I mess that call up? Anyways, okay. God Save the Queen. Aether Shields. Mitts. Hardest hitting hit in the instance. Hardest hitting raid wide. Once the Sovereignty bar hits 100, lightning
Need
orbs will
ether.
spawn. Healers get ready with the spell. Everyone else get ready with light curtains. Get into the shield. Get into the ball of lightning shield. Alright, next we have our first Relentless play. Can you guys hear me?
Lucid.
Yes.
Alright, if you're tethered, you're going to win. Gunner is on 1. We are headed towards north, A. Tethers to win, non-tethers to lightning. Show your hole towards the gunner at 1. Now to a turret on the wall. Second tank buster. Sunlin. Your healers are down. Mark them. Hold your burst. Relentless play 2. This is knockback from the middle of the arena with a queen cleave. Do not stand directly in the knight's path. Stand near the orb, but not directly on it. Follow the safety shapes. We'll tell you the safe spot.
Lucid.
Get knocked towards D. Small triangle between A and 1. Next up is a raid wide. Followed by second super chess.
Need bravery. Need ether. Need ether.
Second super chess. The safe spot is at... Safe spot is at A. Double open again. 6s in the corner. 7s behind 4. 5s in between 4 and D. Walking up the D column. Head
Need
towards home
bravery.
afterwards. Healers, you will have LB3 shortly. Do not use it until you confirm you have LB3. If both your healers are down, say something, yell, and mark them. Third tank buster. Lynn still has it. We are good. LB3 now if you have it. LB3 now. Everyone stack up on the triangle and not one ignore. Stack up, stack up, stack up. We'll be baiting a knight and then either getting close or away. It is Shield Omen. We'll be staying in the knight's hitbox towards the safe side, followed by normal mode gun turrets. We are going towards 1, inside the hitbox towards 1. Dodge the turrets. Where we are is very not safe. Towards A, towards A. Lightning orbs. Reflex, get ready. Everyone else engage eyeball technology.
Need bravery.
Nicely done.
What the fuck is an eyeball?
Thank you everyone for coming. It was a very smooth and chill run. My throat is destroyed for the next week, but what else is new?